But Nili, predictions here. How do you think Finland B needs to switch it up? Because they'll know their opponents well. Max and Velez, reigning champions, and one of the favorites to win the whole thing.
It actually is the Max and Rubenstocks, the reigning champions.
No, it was Max, Velez, and Rubenstock. I think they had
But,
3 people, right?
but I think Velez didn't play.
The whole
I
tournament?
think at least the finals was full Rubenstock and the Max. I'm
Really?
pretty sure.
Okay, I remember Rubenstock playing, but I thought Velez had played in most of those games.
Maybe you go to your YouTube and click one of the 800,000 click videos.
Well,
Take a look at that.
anyways, I might have been wrong on that specific, but Max and Velez clearly the top 2 in Finland. What does Finland B need to do to get a win on their best friends here?
This is so ugly for them, and I really feel for Finland B because they're so good at putting opponents into rough, ugly spots. But Finland A is so good at reacting in those situations.
Yeah.
So I think Finland B would be so much more painful for any other team. I still think we need to see something out of the meta.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got to stick to the meta, maybe deviate it from it slightly. Velez here in the blue playing as the Chinese back in 2018. Maybe he didn't play at all for Finland, and I was wrong on that. But he is certainly much better in 2020 than he was in 2018. He's been playing amazing in 1v1s. He's been qualifying for every tournament. And I think if you were to have a best-of-7 show match between Max and Velez today in 1v1s, it might go the distance. They're that close together. Against Velez on this side, we have Rubenstock. Rubenstock is playing as Ethiopians, so the Archer Civs are located in the south. Then in the north, we have Zupi, Franks, so expect a lot of scouts from Max and Zupi there.
Ooh, I think they switched it up. I remember some team games where Rubenstock was actually the horse player out
Really?
of the 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've in all the group stage, Finland B had Rubenstock going archers, and he actually had a really interesting build. I was almost surprised that he used it so frequently in the group stage because I thought the teams would see it and catch on. So it's 20 pop up, 1 lumber camp, not 2, 1 range, and it go with 2 spearmen, 1 archer, and you pressure the scout player. I'm curious if, again, almost every single meta map, Rubenstock did that. I'm curious if he'll do it again here.
Well, not sure. If it's shown, it is likely that Finland A will come up with a great strategy against that. Will be where maybe go up very quickly themselves.
Also, Nili, did you hear that it's Finnish Independence Day today?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what that means though, and how much they care. I think for you as an American, Independence Day might trigger more than for most Europeans.
Okay, fair enough. I just think it's funny how we have a Finnish Civil War on the Independence Day for Finland. Like, love all the days for them to play live. It's on their Independence Day. They've got to kill each other off. Let's go. Yeah, we'll see, Nili. I'm thinking that one thing you can do if you're sticking to the meta to gain early advantages is to use your starting scouts in early feudal age right after you age up. And Velez Rubenstock also did that a lot in the group stage. So that's one thing that comes to mind as I'm looking at their scouts. They haven't really joined up yet, but maybe around the 9-minute mark, they could pick a spot and try and get early damage in on Max and Velez.
So Rubenstock won't be the top 20 archer spearman aggression. It will be something including some militia before that.
Okay.
And knowing Rubenstock, he probably won't be playing anything in feudal age then. That, especially with the solid woodline and cliff in the back, looks like a Drush fast caster to me.
All right. Yeah, Rubenstock is such a fun player to watch, and he's such a great mind for strategy. I guess you could say the same for all the Finnish players. Many people might not know this, but there was a time where Zupi, at least in my view, was seen as the best player in Finland. That was right when I started watching big team games back in Nations Cup 2016? Or was it 2017? I feel like there was 2015 Nations Cup too. I don't know. But anyways, Zupi was playing incredibly well back then, took a large break, came back, and been playing with Rubenstock in this tournament. You see a barracks there for Velez and walls, and expect this from Velez. While he can weather some awkward storms, he's also known for his clean build orders, and this is exactly what it looks like. Going walls, trying to go archers. Pretty much the only thing you see from Chinese if Velez is playing with them.
So, Velez, is that actually a countered rush now by him? Since
Oh,
villager on gold. So, he might actually switch up his plan and might just play a defensive rush into fast
yeah.
castle himself.
He's
Interesting.
he stayed at home and pushed in every single ostrich. And after scouting this, and here's Max even to help out. Look, all 4 scouts are here. This is great.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, anyways, this is going to be awkward here. Villager might go down for Velez. Let's see if Velez can save that one. And Velez nicely walls it out. Oh boy, but yeah, good. This is definitely a deviation from the plan. I thought he was on the way up. He's staying in Dark Age to go fast castle himself.
And queuing up more villagers makes hell of a lot of sense. Now taking the engagement. I think it is fine. Just pull a villager and you always win this fight.
Yeah. Now, you might not hate this if you're Finland B, because you are delaying, and there's villagers that are not collecting resources right now. But if you're Finland A, you kind of have to deal with this, right? And they do so. And there's still a weak villager around. Zupi could look for that. See if Zupi spots it. Zupi sees the Vill, is attacking the scout instead. We'll probably take the scout, no problem. Oh, maybe not. Ooh, that was a bit of a mistake from Zupi. Didn't take the hill, yeah. Then again, both Velez's scout is weak and Max's scout is weak. And Max is on the other side. Oh, I'm getting NAC3 vibes from this. You remember that golden pit strat that Max would go for? Where he'd go full wall, no army, and then go for a ton of Slav farms? He's doing that right here. So he's not adding a staple. He's instead adding farms. Fascinating.
Or MBL over the last 2 years vibes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
full walls, getting both eco upgrades, and then adjusting to what the opponent is doing. Interesting approach, surely, but he knows, okay, Velez will be walled, Rubenstock will be walled.
Yep.
This one plays out a bit more defensively, and then scouts, kind of as we saw in the Golden Pit game in the series before, won't really do too much.
Exactly. Then Zupi's spending resources on scouts. Yeah, it's just... these are the things that impress me. You know, there's a lot of things a lot of skill out there, but it's the decision making really that makes me love this game. And it seems so simple now that we sit back and look at it and say Zupi scouts won't contribute much. He's expecting scouts because that's the meta, but that's not going to happen. And this could lead to Max having a really solid uptime. We do still have to compare Velez's uptime and Archer build to Rubenstock's, and Velez, at least for now, is going to be faster to Feudal Age.
Yeah, not sure how important that's going to be, though. Archer numbers should be relatively similar. At least that's what I'm expecting. Double archer range production. Both will probably lead their walls at the front. And most likely, we will see the big fights only happening around like minute 19, minute 20 of this game.
Yeah. Well, good news for Zupi is he stopped scout production. You don't want to create too many of them. He probably feels that Max might make more than him. And he's saying, oh, I'm going to beat a Castle Age faster. Not so sure about that with his build order. Max has 700 food already. This is ridiculous. He's already making his stable. He'll make his blacksmith soon. He's going to have an insane Castle Age time.
Oh yeah, Slav's just crazy good, and sometimes I try to fast castle without doing all those fancy walls and won't reach those times. Zupi only now going on to gold. And continues with the scout production. What's happening?
He sees the spear. Well, he hasn't scouted the fact that the stable was late. He assumes that Max is going to have scouts out there.
He didn't scout the Max at all yet.
Exactly, because he had his scout over at the other person's at Velez's base. And now what's going to be even worse for him is he's going to see the stable and he's going to think that this has been a Feudal Age play for Max. And he's wondering where on earth is the scouts. And to make matters even more interesting, if he were to see the blacksmith, he would know Max was up. But because Max didn't use the blacksmith as a wall, he won't know that. So Max is on the way to Castle Age already, and he's going to be about as fast as Rubenstock is. This is wild. Now he might know, because he sees the second stable. Thoughts, Nilly? I mean, I can understand why Zupi would make 4 scouts, because that's what you normally do. You go scouts from this role, and he hadn't seen what was going on, but...
Yeah, and losing his scout at the other side was simply the big mistake, right?
Yep.
Could have gotten away there, then he sees it, and then he goes up earlier to cast range. The question is, will Finland A really find the timing against this, though?
Yeah, I mean, Zupi... I want this to be close, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like Zupi's going to be in a rough position soon, because look at Velez. Velez is going forward. He's sending everything he has straight over to Zupi's base, and we know that Max is going to be on Knights. So if Max also sends a few Knights, this could be brutal. Rubenstock doesn't really have the confidence to push forward because he knows his teammate won't have Knights, and he might expect Velez to come towards him.
Yeah, and you see Zupi, okay, he fears, my timing won't be that great. Is trying to create a second layer for himself. Walls a bit there, sends more villagers onto gold. Weird scenario. Is this maybe a spot for a third stable? Or does that delay your boom too much?
Well, I don't think that he's going to have the economy to justify 3 stables past the first couple nights. But yeah, maybe he needs a little bit more. I think, if anything, you have Rubenstock go 3 range. If you have the Archer player outplay the other Archer player, you can get away with the Knight player being behind. But on the bright side for Finland B, Zupi hasn't lost any villagers yet, and his stables are not being taken down. So he's actually going to be in a spot to make Knights, but crossbows do have full upgrades. Rubenstock has to react and come over to help out, and Max is coming forward now.
And yeah, the preemptive wall's really good by Zupi there, and walling towards his TC. Will idle some farms there, that's guaranteed. Roomstock? There were some X's earlier. I'm a bit surprised how close he's still to his own base.
Yeah, oh boy, and no hesitation here from Max. And from Velez, I think Velez will stay back, but the Knights run in from Max. I was wondering if he would try something like this. And, oh, Zupi not able to react in time.
Oh, he did prioritize the wrong house there, and that's one villager dead already. Those 2 Knights still savage.
Yeah, this is not good, man. The idle time, the wood line's gone, the gold's gone, villagers are dying, and here comes Rubenstock. But this all results from Max's decision to not make scouts at all and have a sick fast castle time. Hard to come back from these situations. Though the Vill losses could have been worse, and the idle time is more than enough for Finland A to feel good about this position now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And did they have any losses? Not really, right?
The 2 Knights were able to make it out of there, man. Rubenstock has 0 kills, 6 deaths right now, so.
Oh.
Of course, that only 2 of them were crossbows. The scouts went down, or sorry, the scout went down and the militia, but I think Max is going to say, all right, Velez, now I boom. I'm on 2 TCs. I just boom it up.
Zupi's eco feels a bit unbalanced there. 22 on gold at the moment.
Oh, man.
What is he trying to achieve there?
He has a market, so maybe he wants to go Huang style here, but this is something he should address. Is he really... He must be stressed out right now in game number 1. My goodness.
Was there a double click or something? Feels a bit weird. 3 on wood at the moment. Now transfers some of these.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's a result of the pressure. He's at 40 fills, Rubenstock's at 43, and you look at Velez. Velez is already on 2 town centers. Velez has more eco than Rubenstock. Finland A just playing near perfect right now.
Huh. This feels really underwhelming so far.
Yep.
It's just like, and that's why the Max has such a huge fan base, right? He's arguably one of the most popular players that didn't stream in at least over a year.
Yeah.
Because he's so unconventional with his strategies, so good, and makes those tiny, weird decisions that can instantly win you games, and it feels so weird to play.
I know. Yeah. You look at how Arabia's been played by almost every other team. You're almost always going scouts. Max said, no, forget about it. It's not going to help in this situation. You can't necessarily, and this is the other thing, Nilly, you can't go into the game saying that you're not going to make scouts. You have to read the situation in real time when all the pressure's mounting, and it was just so good. And also, you can say the same thing about Velez, because normally he would go archers, but he went for defensive drush into a better fast castle into crossbow build. This is Finland A at its finest here. And this is why everyone fears this team. I remember when it was like Team Secret, and Aftermath, and then Finland. Secret for a while there was dominating Aftermath, even though Aftermath had a ton of individual skill, but they struggled against Finland because of Finland's strategy.
Yeah, they were so good. The old ECL days where we had a lot of slinging, but Zoppy doing a good job of catching some of the less crossbows off guard.
Yeah, that's a start, right? Still so many knights for Max, and Max will push that away. And man, Max is both Max and Velez at 65 vills, both with 20 or more military. It is 47 vills for Rubenstock. It's 47 for Zoopy. Is Rubenstock going fast imp here or something? It feels like he might try and go fast imp. No, he's adding a second
his
TC.
first TC now. Yeah.
I don't know. If you're just now adding a town center, Nilly, I think you could have been and maybe should have been on 3 archery ranges this entire time.
Feels weird that he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So much wood and food now.
Yeah. We are seeing a big difference in class so far in this series. And Velez and Max, not troubled whatsoever. Constantly posing some type of a threat. And just as Zoopy wants to move out, he could lose his town center. Got to be really careful here. Oh no, Rubenstock, your crossbows.
Uh-oh, they don't have an armor upgrade. Crossbowmen are now jumping onto them.
Wow.
Diving in deep, but it just feels like Zoopy isn't there to help out.
Yeah. They need a counterattack. They know they're behind, so Zoopy says, I have to go. I'm sorry. And the second he moves out, it's like they can see the whole map. They move in, and they pounce at the perfect time. All those crossbows dead, and this is looking like a slaughter here. Max could either go all-in Castle Age to finish this game, or he could think about going imp, and the GG's even called here. That was brutal, Nilly. Finland's are not going to have, or sorry, Finland B anyways. If it goes like this in future games, are not going to have a lot of success on maps like Arabia. So it's good that they have some crazy home map picks available.
But they only went for one crazy home map pick. Remember, Golden Pit and I think Ghost Lake or something? What's the other one? Golden Pit and Ghost Lake still to come.
Yeah, Golden Pit and Ghost Lake. Let me review this. Make sure I'm right on this. Yeah, that's true. Ghost Lake, kind of a meta map. Golden Pit as well. Yeah, you're right. They might, let's say they get a win on Chaos Pit. They're still going to have a tough task on some of those other maps. It can't be worse going into game number 2, though, right? that was just... it's crazy to think that Zoopy and Rubenstock, they were clearly going to go through in their group, and now they're up against a team like Max and Velez, and it was that brutal.
Uh-oh. And that one looked extremely sharp from Finland A. And if we look super far ahead, it is not unlikely that China A will face Finland A in the semifinals.
Yeah. And
it's weird to say it after one game, but at the moment, Finland A looking hot to get into the finals.
Yeah, seriously. And in 2018, obviously it was a different era, different time, different prize pool, but Finland won the finals against China A. It was, I still can't believe Velez didn't play. It was Max and Rubenstock against Yo and Lix there, and I think they won 4-2 in the finals with a TC drop or 2.
Yeah. The Nomad game, right?
Yep.
That was a crazy one.
That was, well, actually, no. There was a game in the finals where Lix TC dropped Max and Rubenstock TC dropped Yo. Okay. And then the game you're thinking of was when Rubenstock, it was Finland versus Spain in the semifinals. And Rubenstock kept town centering Tato and Lan. So, yeah, town center drops aplenty when Finland are playing.
Oh, crazy. Looking at the statistics here, if you still have them open, the major story that we mentioned so many times, the Max simply 2 minutes up earlier compared to Zopi. Kind of the decider. It feels so weird, but that's simply it.
When teams are this good, it definitely feels that way. I actually closed the statistics because I felt so much pain already. I didn't want to feel more for poor Finland B, but I can tell you what the next map's going to be, Nilly. It will be Chaos Pit. So we talked about town center drops. Persians, top tier on that. Persians, the second pick. Will Finland B try and TC drop their friends?
Thing is, like, Finland A also knows how to play against it, right?
Exactly.
Are there any good anti-douche civilizations in there? We still have Teutons. We don't have Byzantines, right?
So
That's interesting.
So I haven't really done a test with this in particular, but because Teutons can garrison, or they fire more arrows from garrison vills, and because with the early stage of a TC drop, if you right click it, you can shoot that TC down. Teutons might be one of the best defensive civilizations for a TC drop that exists. That combined with the fact that you're going to want a civilization that might be great against Aztecs if Aztecs is picked on the map. Teutons work well because of the conversion resistance. And also, you're going to want a scout civ, and you're going to want a lot of farms. Teutons also suit that. So I think we see Teutons and Goths for Finland A, and I think we see Aztecs and Persians for Finland B.
Magyars could also be an option instead of Teutons.
And
Because
you're right
Magyars,
on
like,
that.
scouts, cheaper, stronger, is really lovely. I probably see Goth there. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so Magyars, cheaper scouts, extra attack. That's what it will be for Finland A and Goths. Now, it's important to remind everyone this is pre-patch. So Goths have 100 gold here, and Loom is free at the start. This is when Goths were the most annoying, and that means that you can make 5 militia. There's no gold in the middle on this map, so the only other civ to be competitive with making militia is the civ that starts with more gold, and that's Aztecs. So what's weird about this is if we're thinking TC drop, I think Rubenstock would be the town center dropper, and he has Aztecs, not Persians. So maybe this is militia for Goths and Aztecs, and then it's scouts and kind of standard play overall for the Persian Magyars players.
Yeah, it feels a bit weird, right? Because if you think douche, you clearly think Rubenstock. I think they might not douche.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, Rubenstock was teamed up with Max and doing it back in 2018. I'm pretty sure that Velez and Max know how to deal with it if they know how to do it. I guess of the Finnish players, Max and Velez are the least known for that because they let others on the team do it, like Juppe and Rubenstock, as they clean house. But we'll see. Someone just said, might not douche. Yeah, right, lol. They just refuse to believe that there won't be a town center drop here. But this is Chaos Pit, guys. It looks fancy. It looks crazy. And this is what... The craziness is really what Finland B are going to need if they have a chance. In the green, we have Max. He's Goths. And then he's teamed up with Velez, who's to the right of him, as Magyars. And then in the yellow, not far away, is Rubenstock. Then we got Zupi. But Nilly, lots to pay attention to here.
Yeah, like the main thing is, will anyone lame? Will someone send villagers out and try to kill the D of the opponent? Maybe we could see some wall-ins of those berries. And you can already see the Max. He already has Loom, and that's a sneaky villager.
Yeah, sneaky villager going around this way. Now, another thing you can do, I don't know if you consider it laming, but you can push the enemy deer to your town center. Max's deer, it's right next to his TC, but Zupi's like, nope, thank you very much. I'm going to take that. Oh, no! ET, go home. Okay. So free Loom and Max walling around the berries. There's double berry bushes. And this is only the start, nearly. This is before a barracks could come up. We need to pay close attention to where the lumber camps go up because you need to eventually chop through to the outer ring to get the golds. Expect this to be very crazy.
And the thing is, with Zupi trying to push the D of the Max, that actually means his scouting will be so limited that, well, he didn't see the villager there. Now sees the first one being attacked. Scout war.
And now his deer are dying. And no reaction to address the villager, just trying to address the scout. I suppose he could send his vills out here to eat that food. It's not that far, but it still is food rotting away. And Max will take that water buffalo too and say thank you very much.
Zupi going for revenge.
Zupi going to the other for revenge. You don't need Loom to do this, right? You only need Loom in the fight, so that's funny. No deer for me, no deer for you. How's it feel, Max?
Yeah, and the question is, like, how do you shoot those? Because if you're shooting them from the back, they will actually get pushed. And you see Zupi, he's kind of moving to the right-hand side so that the deer aren't too close to the TC of the Max.
Yep, don't want to push them in. Now, the expectation here is that we have meta play from Finland. And, oh, actually restart. Actually, a restart. Interesting. So it is a bit janky. So there's one restart per best of 5.
What?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
It was in the rules.
Since always?
Since the group stage, yeah. I know you're very shocked because you probably read through the rules like 20 times. But yeah, there's one restart per best of 5. And it's weird because even I, as the tournament host, don't feel like it should apply to this map, right? Because so much happens before 4 minutes. But restarts have existed for a while. There's one per best of 5. And so I guess Rubenstock and Zupi weren't happy with something. They're going to restart this here. So, Nilly, which game would you have called a restart in?
I'm really surprised. Okay.
Does that mean you would have wanted a restart, or are you just surprised to find out about this now?
Both, probably.
Both. Okay. Should I apologize here?
No. That's like, that is really, really weird to me. Yeah. Okay, that happened.
Yeah. Okay. So it's you have to call the restart before 4 minutes. The re was called 3:59. So no restart for Finland B. Expect similar things to happen here, and I noticed that Zupi had 3 on wood. If you were going for a town center drop with Persians, not only would you consider building your lumber camp not on the outer ring, but more on the hill, but you probably would have more than 3 on wood. So I think it's going to be standard play from Finland B.
Forgot to reset whoops.
Okay.
I'll get you past this meltdown, Nilly. So
was that changed at some point, or
you still can't get over it? No, it was like that in the group stage. It was like that in the group stage.
I'm reading the rules right now.
Okay, go ahead, read up. Read up. It would be really awkward if for some reason it wasn't in the rules for, the round of 16 onwards, but it was definitely in there for the group stage. So it was under one of the spoilers, says Dave. Super hidden. Ah, I see. It was instead of hidden cup is hidden rules. Hidden rules tournament.
So it's not if I Google search for restart.
It's in there. I will say that the big thing with restarts, people need to understand, because this might be a new concept to many, even though it's existed in Age for a long time, is the civs have to stay the same and the map stays the same as well. So we're back in the game, Nilly. We'll probably need to focus on that.
Okay.
And we're actually a little bit behind here, too. So I think the colors are the same. The positions are a little bit different. We now have Finland B on the right side, and then we have Finland A on the left side, but expect some craziness and expect this to be awkward as Max is looping a villager around again. And I'm expecting a drush from Goths at some point. I'm expecting a drush from Aztecs at some point. I'm expecting scouts from Teutons and Persians. It'll come shortly.
Yeah, the big question, as we said earlier, how is Persians going to play? I wouldn't be surprised if it's a douche. I wouldn't be surprised if it's scouts. Also remember, maybe it is just a very early barracks play.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they showed the strategy and enemy could see what you did, starting with 50 extra wood, maybe just build a barracks and add 2 militia very early on.
Yeah, the strategy for USA, at least what we had discussed, was to practice unconventional maps. So if we faced up against teams that were better with the meta, we could get wins against them. And so I think I played more practice games on Chaos Pit than I did on Arabia. We practiced against Argentina A. We practiced against Brazil A and Chile and all types of teams on this. And in my view, Goths is a top tier pick for this. Aztecs is a solid pick for this. And then you almost always pick something like Teutons, Magyars, Persians, some type of scout civ with that. So it feels very meta, despite the fact that we have Persians for Finland. I don't expect a town center drop here at all, as Zupi's sending 4 to wood and getting loom because he knows his villager is around.
Is this maybe just a defensive way to play? Okay, we take Persians so that you don't douche?
Maybe, but then again, I don't think Max and Velez are going to town center drop, ever. So Maybe. It's weird. It's trying to find a way to compare this to something else in life, but we have two very powerful town center dropping teams, and they understand it so well that they just refuse to consider it themselves. Maybe. Oh my God, what's happening here? Ruben, no! Zoopy's gonna lose a villager, and Max just quickly walls in his vill, and they're boxing now. Well, that's awkward.
Villager around to fight this one off. It is, though. If
Actually,
the villager takes time. No, he still has too much HP, right?
Yeah, it seems like Max is going to kill a villager, and then his villager will just be trapped here. All right, well, what Zoopy did was get Loom early, and now that villager's walled in. So I don't know if that's good or bad for you if you're Zoopy. I suppose that villager's as good as dead for Max. Here's the 2 villagers from Rubenstock. What on earth is this? And he's also sending over Militia. So I think he's going to go Vill fight with Militia, with the Eagle, and try and prevent the scout player Velez from walling up.
Okay, let's take a look. Both berries in that one direction. So good.
Those quick
Be
walls
ugly
were so
for... Yeah. Could be ugly for Velez, though, not getting to his second berries.
Right, still looking elsewhere. Nothing too wild yet. Waiting to see if Max is going to add that Rax, and there it is. So expect a lot of Dark Age play from Max and from Rubenstock. Now they're looking for the woodline Finland B. They will see that the woodline's already walled up, so I think the villagers might have been a little bit of a surprise here. Velez did expect some type of pressure and prevented most of the damage so far.
Okay, and that's tricky now. You can't send more villagers onto wood here for Velez. Can't send too many on berries, so kind of limited to stragglers for quite some time. Militia actually not achieving too much here behind this, though.
Yeah, no, Militia not contributing a lot, but at some point, Velez is going to need to send these villagers by the town center somewhere else, is he not? Straggler trees are going to disappear. He only has 4 on wood. Just not being able to escape is going to be weird. And actually, only the 2 villagers on the left side are going to be able to escape at the start, because the ones on the right... Okay, never mind. They're all chopping their way through. Militia
That's
from
some nice
Max are
focusing by
over on
Velez.
Zoopy right now.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, I knew you're going to appreciate that, how he's intentionally command queuing to chop those individual trees so he can get through.
You have no idea how long I discussed with Jordan. Like, oh, it gets so much more inefficient, but then you're getting out quicker. But then I want to build my lumber camp next to it. No, you build it one tile away. And yeah.
I wish I was sitting in on those conversations.
Don't get me started on our discussion on team walls.
Oh, okay. All right. We won't do that. I recall you having a hole in your wall when you guys tried it, though, so. Wasn't all Jordan.
No, that could have happened if I walled myself.
Fair. The villager goes down. Max is off of berries, so there's some success for Finland B. And this is, well, it's chaotic, Nilly. There's no other way to say it. All woodlines need to be walled. Expect this to be even more aggressive when we have Velez on scouts and Zoopy on scouts soon.
The max actually stopped at 5 militia. You can build 6 with Goth. I think it makes sense to not add any more. I don't really see the value in adding another one, which is another nice decision. Zoopy now drops the stable. We already see it from Velez, but not great food income.
Yeah, look at the situation at Velez's base right now. For a while there, he had 4 on wood, and the rest, I guess, were on stragglers, and he's about to run out. And I felt like if there was some presence here, that Velez would struggle, but now that he can make feudal age scouts, I'm not so sure about that. Nilly, what's the big difference if you're comparing Goths to Aztecs when everyone's in the middle?
I don't really see the big difference. Like, if I look at the players now, it's like 0 farms against 10 farms.
Yeah.
That's massive difference. But Civ-wise, if both are running out of gold and you have scout players, it's not a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, they're both going to have to make spearmint only, right, at that stage. That's a good point. I feel like Aztecs want to have gold. They need to have gold more than Goths. Also, a big deal here is Max is, if he wants to get man-at-arms, he's going to be unable to get that. Rubenstock could get that upgrade, but it's not going to be worth it because it looks like all of his militia, well, not all of his eagle, but his eagle will die. That was actually a poor engagement by Velez. That one scout just didn't attack there.
Yeah. And that was only one scout going down. All the militias still there. Well, we had 20 gold. The max a bit later when it comes to chopping out. And
Max's village, just to update, is still there. And that bush is about to be eaten. So I'm looking forward to that.
Could he? Those are 2 of his palisades, right? Or 3 of his palisades. He could delete and try to get out of there.
Yeah, maybe. He's sending the militia that way right now. I'm curious if the village escapes. He can see that because the villager's there. And Zupi has the edge in the scout war so far. He's got 4 scouts against the 2 of Velez, as both infantry players are on the way now to the feudal age. Oh! He could take the 10 food from the bush and escape.
Yeah, that's true.
He could take the food.
Okay. He won't.
It's so unimportant to everything else that's happening, but it is funny. Okay, to Nili, it was more important than it was for me, apparently. Villager's gone down.
He was my best friend.
4 scouts for Zupi, 4 scouts for Velez, but now all full HP for Velez. And comparing the eco between those 2, it's pretty close. This is a wild game, Nili, and this is where teams will have chopped through to the outer ring. I really hate what's going on at Zupi's woodline, though. Why is he making a second lumber camp there instead of on the outer ring? He doesn't have protection for this yet. He's housed badly. Awkward stuff as now we have Rubenstock going into towers and spearmen.
That is interesting, right? With that sect, you don't get a single bonus on your towers, but, well, that is Rubenstock. He doesn't need any bonuses to go for wild strategies and controls one of the stones. Let's see if he can get the second one. Feels like Velez will block this path off, though.
Oh, Max. Max will see the villagers, and he has got a scout there and 5 militia. He could definitely kill them. So after building the lumber camp, those villas have to leave, and at the same time, Velez is looking to defend himself. He's on stone so he can make future towers, but there's 3 spearmen there. And Rubenstock doesn't even have the stone yet to build the tower, so for now he's just fighting with his villagers. This is extremely crazy, extremely awkward, and what you would expect from this team.
Remember, guys, Inca villager rush pretty strong on this one, but kind of anticipated by Finland A. They instantly banned Incas to prevent that.
Both Rubenstock and Zupi getting housed every time I go to their point of view. You look at Velez, he's doing good with that, and Max seems to be doing a good job as well. So I think Velez and Max weathering the storm and fighting here against Spearmen, and this could be a horrible for Finland B because the Spearmen will not be enough. The villagers are all going to die.
3 spearmen just so Shrek, 4 villagers going down there as well, and that's the power of Magios for you.
Also, using the vills against the spearmen throughout that was so important. Well played from Velez. And I think that Zupi was also... He didn't have the scout numbers because he was trying to deal with everything that was going on. And now you have Max just going Castle Age. That's crazy, man. He's been on... He actually wasn't on gold. He used the market, I guess, to go to Castle Age.
And sold all his stone. He didn't build a single defensive tower. And adds a stable. Is he just going full knights after this?
Well, it is Max, right? So you'd expect some knights. This is fun. Rubenstock has towered this little wood line and has villagers beyond that area. So Velez can't easily get to the outer ring unless he goes through Max's side. And he might be on the way right now.
Well, Max. That will be interesting though, right? Oh no, he goes for the defense upgrade for his infantry. Is that just going to be longswords?
I would love to see longsword. Longsword pikemen would be so hype here. As Rubenstock's getting wrecked again, man. It's really not been his game. 29 villagers now. Velez with 19 kills and 9 deaths. Max hasn't had to do a whole lot over the last couple moments.
Velez migration there through the max base, spotted by Rubenstock. Won't get too much in there though. Knights being added, spearmen being added, wood upgrade here for the max, and now fighting this one off. Oh god, this is so the max. Yeah,
it's a very Max thing to do, man. This is looking around. He also has a villager right behind where Zupi's on gold and wood. So he has gotten over there prior to those walls, and I don't think Zupi has any clue about that stable, Nili.
Would be really surprising. Oh god, just barely out of line of sight, and he is walling it out. Or kind of in.
Yeah, walling it in, but I'm looking at these villagers. Rubenstock has lost villagers, and he has so many villagers running around. Got Knights and Spearmen. I think Max has enough here. Velez is going to be able to get some resources on the outer ring. If Knight starts showing up to this wood line, Zupi, who's not on the way to Castle Age yet, will be in big, big problems. Looking rough for Finland B.
Who didn't... We had AoE Olympics, right? And Finland won the 2v2 Chaos Pit as well. It was Roomstock with whom? Did he play with Jupe or something?
Unfortunately, I was paying attention to some stages of that, but I missed that one. I don't know if Max and Velez were prioritizing playing. It was tough to follow which teams had players playing. But yeah, I mean, Rubenstock probably played in that, and maybe it was Yupe or Jupe, and
Yeah.
Rubenstock is...
They won in the end, and some people kind of gave me the info that every series had at least one douche included. So they love this map. They're so aggressive. And the more surprising it is how well the Les and the Max can deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably didn't go for that strategy because they know how good their teammates are in some tournaments. And oh, okay, we've got some really interesting click walls around these mountains back here.
Good job.
Very, very well done, but the damage was also done nearly, and you have Max now. I feel like Max, be very like him with a forward villager to mix in some siege, but he could also just collect some stone and get some TCs up. What is that farm from Velez, though?
I think he didn't have enough wood for a lumber camp. He only had 60 wood. Collected full wood there with all his villagers. Built the farm to get the 100 wood.
That's probably it, yeah. That's the only explanation, unless it's a massive misclick. You do drop off resources at the farms if you're carrying it. Just the knowledge these guys have to know what to do in all those situations. And I'm looking at poor Rubenstock again. He's through to the outer ring, but he's not on gold with Aztecs. To quote Nikov here, having played with Argentina on this map, he said, Aztecs feel useless after the start on this map.
I think so as well.
Maybe that's why Rubenstock went so YOLO. Max was able to contribute with Knights. Aztecs, of course, could never do that. And they just didn't do enough damage early, and Max is all over. Actually lost the forward villager there. But he's all over Zupi, who is in Castle Age, trying to defend here and also has to defend from Velez's scouts. Velez has light cav, all over his farms and wood lines. This is wild.
And yeah, that lost villager was only a converted one, so not the worst thing. He
Gotcha.
still
Okay.
has
Yeah,
another aggressive villager. And yeah, those light cap rates are just so brutal. And that's why it was so special to me that the Max is going for Knights as the Goth player, especially if you already have Magyar as a team partner who is not on gold at all. So he will stay on those light cap for quite some time.
I love how he converted a spearman there. It's something to attack with, and one less spearman for the Knights. Rubenstock has villagers running around. You see the villagers looping around this ring. He must not realize that his villagers cannot head past his wood line. He's probably clicked them back there to find gold, but instead it's either new villagers pathing the wrong way, or...
I think it was the waypoint on the wood line, but he actually walled himself off.
Yeah, he can't go through, and I've seen villagers go down on their journey, and he still hasn't reacted to that as far as I'm aware. And light cav are everywhere for Velez. We have not been looking at the eco much for Velez and for Max. Rubenstock might feel happy and might feel like he's denied Velez from expanding, but Velez is already expanding with TCs.
Uh-oh. Look at Roomstock. Look at his starting TC. Take a screenshot. I think it won't be there pretty soon.
I think they know they're dead, and he's like, Zupi, can I douche? Can I douche? You have to ask your teammate, right? Like, just so you don't throw the game. You're like, yeah, we're dead. Go ahead and go for it. He's gonna drop a TC here for the memes. But
one night around, quick walls obviously close to impossible there. I think the TC will go up, but with heavy losses.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It probably does more damage to Velez than anything else. But when you have Max pushing Zupi and Velez already booming on additional town centers, I don't think it's enough damage. And there goes that TC. And they will shoot the Magyar TC, but Rubenstock, unfortunately, and Zupi just not having their day. And it was always going to be so tough against this Finland A team.
take a look at the top. Conversions won't even happen. And, well, I think this might have been a drop because they kind of saved after that. But I'm pretty sure this one will be resigned.
Yeah, I don't think they'll restore from this point. You
It
said
might
it in,
just be a clear GG. And someone just accidentally clicked save instead of resign.
that to me.
That's more likely.
That to me looked like he tried to do GG, because we can't see the chat, but he tried to do GG and accidentally paused it. But yeah. Again, Velez and Max just seem one step ahead, and when you're talking about Finland B on this map, you're normally talking about the wacky strategies, and they clearly didn't have the confidence to try it against their comrades. Do you think that is flawed logic? Do you think they should have tried to use Persians, how they would use Persians against other teams? Or do you think that maybe it's going to be tough either way for them?
Well, the thing is, Persian duels, as entertaining as it is not a winning strategy, right? You have to count on your opponent to make mistakes. And the less and the max, they've seen so many deuces, played so many deuces, especially the max, that I think they know how to react in the situation. And then the Persian douche is putting you further behind than it should.
All right, I understand. I agree with you that Max and Velez, I agree that Max and Velez would probably know how to deal with it. I don't necessarily agree that the TC drop only rides on enemies making mistakes on this particular map. So I hope that we will see more of it. It will be in very important stages, of course, but yes, there is a massive risk, and I'm hoping that Finland B will have a good, solid strategy for their next home map, and their final home map will be Golden Pit, and they've got some options there, Nilly, and I know this is going to be awkward, but I really got to use the bathroom, so if you could talk through those options, we'll be in Game 3 shortly. I'll just leave you unmuted on my side, and you can share your knowledge with the world.
Okay, I will be unmuted on my side as well. And we can take a look at the remaining civilizations. Obviously, Golden Pit, as you all know, all the gold in the center. And going into Imp without any gold control, it won't be an option. Therefore, we need massive armies in Castle Edge. We need a lot of control. Strong civilizations for that are, for example, Berbers with their cheaper knights. So very strong option in that regard. We also need an archer civilization. And honestly, I only see Saracens as an option there for Zupi. So I feel Saracen Berber as the very likely choice on Golden Pit. And then we will have Cumans played on Ghost Lake. Maybe Vietnamese played on Ghost Lake feels kind of strong as well. And on the Finland A side, I would say we probably want to have Vikings being played on Golden Pit to save Malay for Ghost Lake. Simply the strongest civilization when it comes to fast castling, which is a more likely strategy on Ghost Lake because we can wall so easily. Now the big question, what civilization are we taking? Most likely Vikings could also be on Team Island, so maybe we just go Malay here. No, I think Vikings won't be played. I think Vikings might actually not be Team Islands if we look at those civs. And only have Ghost Lake and Golden Pit left, right? Because we need 2 archer civs. Malians could play archers, but doesn't excite me too much, not having Bracer. So I think something like Vikings now. And probably Lithuanian Huns or Teutons. Interesting question. What do you want to play on what map? Probably Teutons, Ghost Lake, Lithuanians here on Golden Pit. But I also could see Teutons. So I will go with the wild one. Teuton Viking against Saracen Berber.
Ooh, all right. Saracen Berber. I think Saracen Berber sounds good. I didn't get to hear everything you said, but
the big question is like the thing why I took so long is if you look at Finland A civilizations, the only clear archer civ they have left is Malay.
yeah.
Right? And Vikings, Italians, you could see for Team Islands. But there's still Golden Pit and Ghost Lake left. So I think it's likely that Vikings won't be played on Team Islands, but here.
Yeah, the Vikings, because of how the meta is, especially right now, I feel like Vikings are not they're not necessarily go-to compared to other civilizations on water. Vikings are so good on land. But yeah, we'll find out. I see they've started the next game, Nilly. Thanks for doing that, by the way.
Vikings become better in a European war as well. Because Vikings heavily rely on micro, and it is a big difference if you play against Vietnam. Then Vikings are worse than against Finland if you are Finnish yourself.
Yeah, like the ping of the server you're on. That's a very good point. Okay, so I'm sure there's very low ping for these guys. We have Max playing as Lithuanians in the green. And you had touched on that, and you'd mentioned Vikings. We have Velez. I'm going to speed up here. Velez playing as the Vikings in the blue. Okay, we're all caught up. Zupi in the red. Zupi's playing Berbers, one of the best civilizations for this map. And then Rubenstock in the yellow has gone Vietnamese. I don't hate Vietnamese here. I think they have probably produced the craziest comeback that the tournament has seen so far, Nearly, if it gets to late game.
And my chat just told me, like, oh, Nearly looks serious today, because I was looking at the chat and didn't change my scene. The interesting thing is, like, Vietnamese picked here over Saracens. So they want to play Saracens on Ghost Lake, obviously an easily evolved map.
Yeah.
I think Saracens are good here, simply because market use is nice. You can compensate a bit going late, and you can break walls so quickly on a map that isn't easily be walled.
Okay, Zupi's getting Loom. He's sending a villager forward with Berbers. So things haven't been going good for him. He has faster villagers. He's sending a villager forward. It is within the laws and the rules of the tournament to use villagers to shoot deer, take out boars, anything like that. So we saw it on Chaos Pit. We rarely see it on Golden Pit. I think the only other player to do it on non-Chaos Pit was actually Viper in the group stage.
And that's why I'm picking the Vietnamese here, because they wanted to lame and wanted to know where the TCs are.
Unfortunately, you don't know where the boars are.
Yeah, but you, well, unfortunately, the villager runs exactly between TC and boar.
But yeah, they know where they now make use of Vietnamese bonus a bit more, but I think Zupi will be very disappointed that he was unable to get that board. This is a massive risk. Falling in the villagers now, that's kind of funny. And they could also kill this villager. Velez fighting this could be blocked off. And okay, in the end, it's awkward for Velez, but no Vil losses yet. And now Velez will probably tell Max, hey, this is happening. They're changing it up a bit on us. I think it's more than worth it if you kill that boar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The question is, like, should Velez now seeing that instantly have gone for the back boar?
Yeah, he didn't pull anything. That Vil will be walled in, and that boar is going to be a goner. Here he comes now. Maybe the boar will aggro on the Velez's villager, but it shouldn't. And that boar should die there. Yeah, he's just accepting it, I guess. Someone in Twitch chat on my side asking, why can't Finland B play without any wacky strategy? Oh, they can. Watch their games from the group stage. They definitely can, but they're up against a better meta team. And Max and Velez are one of the favorites to win the tournament. So if you try and play meta against a team who's king of that, it's very difficult for you. And I kind of enjoy the fact that they're changing it a bit here, Nilly.
Yeah, and I think against every non-top, let's say, top 6-5 teams, I think they would just play meta.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Finland B that there is another team that is considered top 10 and not just top 10, you know, almost top 1, top 2, top 3 at times, because they are so good. And good job from Max and good job from Velez. They killed a villager. We'll see how that affects what Velez was going to do here.
Well, this is bad for Zupi and Roomstock for this specific tournament. I think they didn't complain over the last 4 years dominating other Nations Cups that were 3v3 and 4v4.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, people upset not to see Doubt in this tournament because Doubt doesn't have that really strong second serve. Well, first off, I should mention that Doubt was going to play and miss the sign-up deadline, which is very Doubt. But the other thing to mention is, Dowd has been dominating tournaments for such a long time, and so it really depends. Some teams are more favored in 2v2 format, some teams are less favored. A good job from Max there.
That actually might be my favorite storyline of all World Cup. Like, Modri, another guy born in Yugoslavia, made a topic on AoE Zone, like, I want to play with Dowd and make it happen. We don't have a lot of strong players. We were born in the same country. The country doesn't exist. And massive amount of posts, like, why it should be fair and how the system isn't nice. And then Dowd just says, I don't even want to play with Modri.
Dowd was not planning on playing with him at all. Dowd had already told us he was going to play with Hiko, and then Dowd missed the sign-up deadline, yeah. Yeah, believe me, I think because, you're not part of organizing, it probably was fun for you. It was annoying for me. But yeah, Dowd didn't care at all. Rubenstock has a militia over here, which means he's got to have a few more. And the militia are on the way. And there's still a gap here, but after Velez had to deal with all that pressure, he seems to be fine at home. Don't get confused by the Palisades. And yeah, another game where Max expects pressure and he deals with it well. And Nilly, I think we're going to see a repeat of game 1. I think he goes eco upgrades and no military. He has no barracks. He has no stable.
Interesting choice. Maybe took something out of the MBR rule and strategy book there. It is quite interesting.
I haven't seen this since I saw Max doing it, or kind of setting the trend when I was in Hamburg with you in NAC3. Because this has not happened a single time in the group stage from what I've seen. Maybe I missed a game or two. That's really interesting.
I think it's a bit like Mr. Yo played that on C Notes as well, right? Archery range, defensive tower, then adding the archery range after planting like 6 farms down.
Yeah.
And then try to play it in castle with a strong economy.
Yeah, now Zupi is in the process of walling up and will soon be fully walled. And Zupi is going fast castle. And then Rubenstock also going fast castle. So the play from Max is quite simply realizing, Velez is going to be pushed off of gold. This is really good for Finland B. But Max is realizing that scouts are not going to contribute to his team's cause. And so why make them? Let's just get Castle Age.
Will be a very passive game here. The question is, how is Velez regaining control of the back? Can build 2 archers, so he should be fine.
Yeah, it's annoying though, right? Because you want to have a bit more than that, but I guess with 115 gold already, it's not the worst ever. And also has more scout HP, so it can take out Rubenstock's scout. Max is going to bring his scout over. Yeah, they'll be okay. But I think while the Vil loss might not have been part of the plan for Zupi, taking out that boar, having Rubenstock and Zupi in fast castle position was clearly their strategy. So Finland B are where they want to be right now.
Yep. They won't mind that at all. And honestly, I think if we don't get to a lot of relics, Berbers should really dominate this one.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at relics. We didn't really address that yet.
Yeah, the relic position's interesting on this one. It is normally even. You're going to have... the way it's set up is you're going to have one near-ish to each player, but in a competitive area normally, and then you're going to have the extra one in the middle. So I suppose for Max, depending on if he can take map control, he does have 3 that he could take somewhat easily. But like you said, I think having the Berbers and the cheaper knights is more effective, and the fact that Berbers don't get Paladin is not really an issue on this map. This is funny. But it's not an issue because we rarely see Paladin. The games end much earlier than that.
Yeah, rarely do we have a full contested area in the center anyways, and then Heavy Camel will do fine, Mass Cavalier will do fine as well. So, yeah, as you said, not important at all on this map.
And another thing to bring up, I mentioned earlier that Vietnamese can be so beastly in post-imp with Rats and Archers. I see Rubenstock going to Stone now. He's going fast castle into Rats and Archers. Are we ever going to get 2 Imperial in this game, or is it just going to be all about Castle Age? I think, while Rats and Archers are great in post-imp, he could be making Archers right now as he's on his way to Castle Age, and his team might really struggle with military because of that.
I'm surprised that he is going returns.
Very surprised. I expected crossbows. I expected him to be on crossbows faster than Velez, and then Zupi would have a reasonable time with knights. But if he's trying to go Rats and Archers, he won't be able to do much. And I think Zupi's going to be either 2v1'd or he's going to be 2v1'd at his own base, Rubenstock.
Zupi. What? He would play Market and Blacksmith as well, so Stable will be late. They won't have great numbers. I think the second Stable will be late.
Everything's going to be pretty late here. And then you look at Max, just another game where he's going 2 stables. He has skipped making military in Feudal Age. And then Velez, fortunately, is Vikings. And everything just looks so crisp and clean when I look at Finland AZ Eco. Despite everything that's gone down, having to deal with the Drush, having to deal with the Forwardville, you'll still have Velez with solid army numbers, Max with solid army numbers, and amazing Eco. So impressive.
And this will be lots of aggression. Now the big question again, Velez and Max, who do they want to attack? Probably should be Zupi. Shorter distance for Velez and tougher to rewall for the non-archer player.
Yep, exactly. I agree with you there. Illy, how impressive is it, the level of consistency that the top teams bring to the game? We haven't seen a single game from Finland A in such a long time where they were even slightly off. It's amazing.
Yeah, that really surprises me as well. And if you see like the top players over the years, like when did we see the Max screwing up a Dark Age? Or all the other top players, right? They're so close to the perfect times nowadays. And yeah, like that's really what I love as well about this game. That now we get into the very deep strategic elements because players are so clean.
Yeah, players who are around top 100, there's a lot of people who can have 2K2, 2K3 days. But, you know, you and I both know we could also have awful days. Staying consistent is so difficult, and it's so easy for these guys. Very impressive stuff. Max sees now that Stable's there, and he's going to attack that. We'll have the lead with the production. Les is here with archers, and it's extreme risk for Rubenstock, who's just now going to offer military for his team. The hope is that Rats and Archers are so strong that they're able to come back with that, but you do that and you wait for Rats and Archers, and then your teammate will fall behind, and we've seen this before. Game 1, Zupi falling behind because both Max and Velez were knocking at the door.
The thing is, what I don't like about the Rettans, think about the fight, right? In 1v1, Rettans absolutely kill Archer. But if we think about the typical 2v2 fight, most of the time Archers survive, all the Knights are dying. So Rettans only shooting at the Knights, and then your armor isn't really helping you.
Yeah, also I feel like Rettans are really underwhelming with that armor in Castle Age. It's really once you get imp upgrades, that's when it's beastly. It's okay and strong and you have a bit more mobility, but is it worth delaying the numbers this much? He can have 2 production buildings. Velez could easily be going for 3, and big fight here. Zupi just needs to do what he can to hold, and he ends up having to back away as crossbow is in. And it is only 2 ranges for Velez, but still, he has 11 military, and Rubenstock's only at 6, and on the other side of the map right now.
Do we already have ballistics here? Or no? Okay, that will take some time at CTC, and the question is, how can Zupi hold this one? He is still playing 1TC for quite some time to follow this one up.
I think... I don't think he should take any damage here. Like, he should not be taking any of these fights. The fact that he's not being attacked currently, his walls are not being broken down, is really good. So I think you actually... You play passive here if you're Finland B. Just hold them off from attacking your base. Double house wall, double palisade if need be. And just wait for that critical mass of knights and also Rats and Archers. So it's a good move for them to run away. I think it is a good sign that Max and Velez are not taking out the stables that Zupi has in the front right now.
Yeah, that was the big difference compared to game number 1.
Yeah.
Zupi simply skipping the scouts himself.
Yeah, and they will see the Rats and Archers. I'm sure that they knew it, but Max just spotted the Rats and Archers. And there's quite a few Ratsons out. Let's give Rubenstock some credit. 12 Rats and Archers. Velez has 17 crossbows.
Uh-oh. Will he in a second, though? Seems like he's a bit out of position.
Oh, man. Velez running up the hill. That's good. But his crossbows are caught out here. I think we could see the Ratsons go down as well. But great job from Finland B. This is what they needed. That's an amazing fight for them, Nilly.
Oh god, all the crossbows going down. That is so nice for sure. And, well, that was a bit of a misplay. Normally the Finns, or especially Finn A, so much better at clumping together, and can this maybe snowball behind this though? Finland A with a better economy.
Yeah, and I see TCs now. This is a sign for Rubenstock and Zupi. This is our moment. Let's go. Let's go to the middle. Let's add town centers. That TC from Rubenstock. Why not build it closer to your eco? That's interesting. He wants to build it in the center of the map. I feel like that's just inviting pressure later on. But that also might be denying some of that map control.
He still has 4 villages on stone, so he will be able to build a castle in some minutes.
Yep.
Maybe he thinks, okay, let's just put the TC there, and then it's easier to build the castle in the future.
This is going to be a fun game, Nilly, because Max and Velez have way more eco, but they don't have the middle secured right now, and they've fallen a little bit behind when it comes to military. So I'm looking at 53 vills for Velez, 56 for Max, only 45 for Rubenstock, and 43 for Zupi. They have the ideal comp, Rats and Archers and Knights, especially Berber Knights. But are they going to be able to hold with less economy?
The Max now with the monastery picking up some relics, so he will have 3 relics in total pretty soon.
Oh boy, yeah. I think Finland B will be aware of that as they just kill a monk, and Zupi and Rubenstock forcing Max to come back, and now Max, he's going to lose stables here. And Nilly, this is the first time I've actually felt like Finland A were in some type of a discomforting position in the whole series.
Yeah, absolutely agree. This is really good, and Rubenstock, he will get an army that will be extremely strong here. First stable going down. What's the reaction here by the Max? He adds 2 new stables in the back.
And Max also housed at the moment. He will have 3 relics. That's a big deal. So has that eco, but will he have the gold to mine? Rubenstock. His eco's not the worst, and Zupi's trying to get those town centers and stables up to get the production high enough. And what could go wrong here for Zupi and Rubenstock? Let's ask that.
I think the Max just outmassing. The thing is, how do you outmass if you don't get a lot of gold control, right?
Yeah.
His 1 gold spot is running out in 600 gold, no control over the other one, and then 3 relics won't carry you too far.
That monastery's right there. They're not going for it. They're going for Vil picks. And I think we might have a little surround here. It wants to trap this army. Finland A under pressure. Many people were saying 3-0 before the series even started. We're at 2-0 right now. I do Zupi and Rubenstock back up here, Nilly. I think you have to you have to judge this nicely and consider running away. Those knights are no joke.
Let's take a look. Do they know about the other gold spot? No, they don't. So they might think the Max might have his other gold spot in the back.
Yeah, and they back away. I mean, they do have TCs in the middle right now. Oh, Max was able to get one up, though. And 10 plus 4 knights with Lithuanians, full armor. More knights on the way. Max will probably take that gold if he sees it. What a fun game we have.
I think this is a spot where Zupi should add some more stables. Is sitting at 3 right now, has 3 TCs. Maybe even... Oh, I think Rubenstock just bought some stone. He will drop the castle.
And I think it's because he sees the town centers there. Also, Zupi has more knights than Max does. So he's less attack, but he has more knights. And there's Rats and Archers here. 6 Pierce armor. I said they're not that good in Castle Age. I take it back. We're looking really strong right now. And they're especially good at tanking arrow fire from Velez's army. That castle is going to go up for Rubenstock.
And Zupi and Rubenstock, they don't need to take a fight anymore. They can camp this out.
Yeah.
They know they easily get that TC. They easily get all the gold control. This is looking really good for Finland B.
Now, the only way to take the middle now, it's not going to be with knights in most cases. It's going to be with siege. And Imperial is what you need if you want the siege. And Velez is imping right now. He might not have a lot of gold, but he is imping. He's got about 1,000 gold remaining, and he's on stone nearly. So I expect a castle from him. And if that castle goes up in a good spot, he could maybe start trebbing back the middle. But it does mean that there's a solid time window for Zupi and Rubenstock to push and kill the Max. And they might be doing that right now.
Rubenstock fully out of position. What's happening here? Why is this army so much to the front? Where's Zupi? This could be so bad.
Zupi
Knights are
running
jumping.
to the right side. Fortunately, the Ratans are pretty quick. And yeah, that could have been a disaster. You're right. But it could be a disaster for Velez as well if Velez gets spotted here. Or for Max, depending on how this is. It looks like Finland B is more together than Finland A right now. Oh, man, this is so crazy. I'm loving this, and I'm really excited for Finland B because they really have a shot here.
Oh, crossbows out of position, trying to micro back. Not sure if the market is helping or not helping at the moment. Not deleting it for now.
Okay, so let's think about the Pierce Armor on Ratons and Castle Age. You get 6 Pierce Armor. Arbalest with full upgrades does 10 attack. Still a lot of Pierce Armor, but Arbalest is going to be a huge help. Because currently the crossbows do so little against those Raton archers. Also, that castle position, I don't think it's going to be all that good for Velez when he does build it, because they cannot even take the flat lands next to the gold in the middle.
Let's take a look. Needs to wait for all his upgrades, maybe then take a fight. That is kind of the unit that needs to carry the game. It is open, now Revolt behind. Tricky spot. It's all on Velez now.
It's all on Velez without golds. I would love to see Finland A try and go for some weird trade strategy here. You almost don't have the gold to trade, which is the problem, but how else are you going to get it? You have to invest in some way. They do have the army control in the hill now, so I think Velez will place that castle. And always going to try and place it in the middle.
Ooh, interesting one. Canceling it, builds it even further forward. Sees, okay, Roomstock outpost is blocking there. First villager goes down. And Roomstock, he has to know what's up.
That feels really, really awkward, right? It's a lot of rats and archers. They'll just engage. And they're taking out the Arbalest. That's not enough Arbalest.
That's mainly because Zuppi is around and the Max is going back there. Big raid in the back.
Wow, and Zuppi only sent in about a dozen units here. Max has to send his whole force back to deal with that. And in the process, everything will die for Velez.
Beautiful surround. Now the Knights are coming over for the Max, but little too late. And that is the army that needed to decide the game for Finland A. Supreme engagement for Finland B.
Velez does not have the gold to make more Arbalests. Rubenstock says, yeah, that's a great castle spot. I'm going to place one too. And the game is over. Rubenstock and Zuppi get a victory, and well played from them. I was questioning the Rats and Archers, Nilly. I know you were too. I kind of like it now. It's not bad.
Would this game have played differently if Roomstock just went to archery ranges crossbow?
I think if he goes to archery range crossbow, Max is, Velez is a lot more comfortable to take some of those fights in Castle Age. But because the mobility of the Ratons and the fact that a crossbow would do 1 damage to a Ratson archer, it kind of canceled those crossbows out of the equation. And in particular, it canceled fast Arbalest. So, impressive. And I also think it comes back to that poor engagement for Finland A, where Velez lost his early numbers. Because early numbers is the benefit of going crossbow over Ratons. And he lost his force, and then immediately after that, Rubenstock and Zuppi took the middle, and they never lost it after that.
But I felt like that was the deciding factor, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Less losing his crossbows. And then it doesn't matter. Like, they had such an army advantage, just put so much pressure on the Max. While the less and the Max went for the boom, a questionable choice on Golden Pit, because you need to have that center control so much earlier. So I think actually Ratons didn't win the game. It was actually the way cleaner play by Finland B, which excites me a lot.
Yeah, and you know, one more thing to bring up is the second town centers for Velez and Max came up almost immediately in Castle Age, and they were not in the middle. Whereas the second town center for Rubenstock, granted, he was in a more all-in situation, he went to the middle. And Zuppi, you look back at his eco, he has 1 TC up on the hill, 2 TCs in the middle. So there was also further prioritization of the middle by Finland B. Velez and Max felt like they could maybe go 2 or 3 TCs up on the hill, get an eco lead, push the middle, and then take control, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, that was awesome, and I'm proud for Zuppi and Rubenstock because game 1 and 2 were pretty brutal, and now we get to see a home map for Finland A, and if Finland A end up winning the series long term, maybe whoever's prepped to play them next can get a bit of a peek into what strategies they will try.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Although Team Island games play really differently depending on what civilizations you have. Do you have Vikings included? Do you not have Vikings included? And we just saw in the last game the less with a negative KD, which shouldn't really happen for the crossbow player there. And kind of the main factor. Should they go for Ghost Lake or should they go for Team Islands?
I think that I would say Ghost Lake here, and I say that because unless you have something really unique planned for Ghost Lake, um, it's probably the most understood map. I know that a lot of teams are landing on Team Islands, but you've got to think that Finland A have prepped some type of a strat to defend against that as well. But I'm seeing now in the lobby browser before the game starts, and these games are live, everyone, that it will be Team Islands. So unless they
Okay.
switch that, we can speculate pretty hard on that, Nilly.
Yeah, it's really likely that it will be Team Islands. It's rarely that they like select a map and then unselect it. And now I will take the hippo break, and you can theory craft about the civs.
All right, so we'll theory craft about the civs. Well, I'm going to start with Finland B. To be honest, it's not that exciting when it comes to options here. Unless I've done something wrong on my end. They have Khmer, Cumans, Saracens, Spanish, Portuguese. Saracens is clearly going to be saved. In fact, I think Saracens Cumans is over freaking powered on Ghost Lake. So let's just assume that Finland B will save those civs for Ghost Lake. You go Khmer and then Portuguese. You know, Portuguese could try and fight to win water. And if you want to go for a landing, you could have Khmer build a quick house on the enemy island, hop inside the house to be protected if they pounce on you, and then go for scouts and archers. For Finland A, I have absolutely no question what it will be. I think it will be Malians and Italians. You could maybe give a shout to Malay, but if you look at how China A likes to play this, and they were the ones who started this strategy a few years ago on 2v2 islands, it was always one person wins water with Italians, the other one lands with Malians. So for that reason, that's what I'm going for here. I don't like the idea of going Spanish for Finland B, because if you are landing with the Civ, you're going to want to go scouts into archers, and Spanish don't get crossbow. Why is Malians good on islands? Because of all their bonuses. It's not, you guys have to remember the meta currently is to have one person fight on land with a transport ship. So Malian buildings are discounted. They don't cost as much on wood. So your houses are cheaper. Your docks are cheaper. You can make more fishing ships. You can afford the transport. You can afford to farm while making stables and ranges and all that at the same time. So yes, Malians drop off in late game, but the idea is to pick Malians to win in the mid game. But if you're really worried, if you really think that it will go super late, maybe you pick Malay. You still have Malay go for landing, and then Malay at least are competitive in post-Imperial on water. But again, I based on the Kings of Water, and I will still call the Kings of Water Yo and Lix because they just destroyed everyone back in the 2v2 World Cup with the landing strat. Lix would always go Malians and land. Yo would pick Italians and try and clear out in water. So I think advantage for Finland as far as civs go.
Not knowing that Portuguese is the strongest civilization on Team Islands.
Wait a second. Spanish for Rubenstock. Did you hear what I was able to say throughout that, by the way?
Some of it.
I said that it wouldn't be Spanish because it doesn't make sense. Spanish? What do you do with Spanish on Team Islands, Nilly?
Well, we have Saracens, Khmer for Ghost Lake, right? So it had to be Spanish or Cumans, and Cumans do less than Spanish.
I was actually thinking it'd be Cumans and Saracens for Ghost Lake. I think if it's played correctly, I think Saracens Cumans is like pretty freaking OP for Ghost Lake if it gets there.
Okay, that's the composition that Russia played, right? And then you wanted to have Khmer instead of Spanish?
Yeah, I was thinking Khmer. And what's really nice is if they try and pounce on your forward villagers, then you just hide them in a house.
Okay.
But we'll see. We have Max in the green. Max is playing as the Malians. He is, of course, teamed up with Velez. Velez is playing as the Italians. And I think maybe someone could have a look at the brackets. But I forget who faces up against the winning Finnish team in the future. That might not be decided yet. But I think it's a very strong team in the bottom half of the bracket. Oh, it's China. Okay, so winner here plays China. Okay, wow. So, I don't know how close Yo is paying attention to this right now, but I'm pretty sure that Yo will be very happy to see the civilizations and what Finland A will want to go for if Finland A ends up winning this, Nilly.
Yeah, Yo will watch
Watch
everything.
it,
It's
yeah.
I think it's even likely that he's casting this right now.
I
right?
was thinking the
It's still-
same, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. on a Monday morning, kind of his prime time.
Yeah, that's when Yo really starts to feel good. All right, so Zupi is Portuguese. You get Dark Age cartography. You get a gold discount on your navy. Nilly showed us how good Vittorias can be on 2v2 islands in late game when resources run low. Caravels as well. I'm not sure if I'm more excited to see Caravels just because of how unique they are, or because when they sync, the animation is beautiful. But teamed up with Spanish, and that 2v2 meta currently is to see one person go for a transport. You probably want Portuguese to fight for water control. If it's a transport from Spanish, what are we thinking, Nilly? Still scouts?
Are we maybe playing this one weirdly and just playing water and trying to make Kongs happen in Castle Age?
Yeah, I'm thinking even if Rubenstock goes for Greedy Fast Castle and they wall themselves, if he can get over to the enemy base with villagers and get a castle up, that could be devastating. It's so risky, and I feel like it's likely to fail, but that's got to be the thought.
T90 hype, T90 hype, T90 hype.
Next question. Dark Age transport into 5 villagers tower rush?
Ooh. I'm trying to think of the uptime you could pull off with that. I'm thinking...
Twitch Prime, I think it was.
I mean, it's not going to be any more impressive than Malians. I think Malians are going to have the edge because of the Dark Age eco. You could go Trush. We've also seen a lot of teams expecting some type of a landing, go for scouts at home, and try and clear up the forward villagers. So, I'm a little bit surprised to see Spanish here. There's got to be some type of a game plan, and the YOLO-ness of it does suit Finland B.
I'm not sure if there has to be a game plan, right? Spanish was a very late pick.
Yeah.
It is the home meta of your opponent, so you don't necessarily have to have a strategy prepared for that. They might have just gone for it because that's simply what was left.
Yeah, and they probably, like you, think that Khmer is a must pick on Ghost Lake if it gets to Game 5, and didn't feel like they wanted to pick Kumans here over Spanish.
The more I think about it, I think I want to have Khmer and Kumans on Ghost Lake. Kumans playing Kipchaks, and then having Saracens here complementing Portuguese.
But I think we both agree that maybe Spanish is the one that you would never pick. Oh, God, and Rubenstock just shot the goat with his town center. So now that's 140 food down the drain. He just lamed himself. That's a bit of a mistake, and that can be a frustrating one at that. He has docked on the front, Nilly, so very close to where Max is on water. And then Velez and Zupi also docking on the front, but that's less surprising because the expectation is that Italians and Portuguese will fight for water control.
Very short distance here, and most of the time you see some back dogs, some sneaky dogs from the guys that are somewhat trying to make landings happen.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like the case this time.
Yeah, I broke this down quite a bit in the group stage, but I like...
Let's go.
So it's actually Taiwan that impressed me the most with their islands play so far. With the back dock build order with the transport ship, because in some practice games when we were practicing this, would back dock for safer fishing ships, but then the transport ship would either be too late or I wouldn't be able to comfortably get to the middle. So front docking means you can comfortably transport to the proper spot, but your fishing ships are more in jeopardy. So as everyone's clicked up except Rubenstock, we will find out soon if Max is going to transport, and Max...
Yeah.
He's actually going
transport.
He's actually going to gold. Wait, what was that? Sorry?
Rubenstock won't transport. He did click up without loom. So he will stay on his island.
No, he's transporting.
Without loom. Okay. Well, okay.
I wouldn't suggest it. And I was wondering if Max would transport, because Max almost looks like he's playing into water build here. He's got no villagers on food anymore except for the fishing ships. He's got lots on wood, lots on gold, and he's going to make a second dock. And it's actually going to be the same for Velez. So I guess Finland A, excuse me, are going to patrol their scouts on the front and hope to spot any potential landing. This is going to be a disaster.
This one will be problematic. Left-hand side, the Max has solid resources to the back and easily wall the left-hand side. and even has the 2 stones away from the upcoming landing.
But
of
what's
Rubenstock.
happening here? Rubenstock has sent 5 vills, but he has a scout in there, so he can only fit 4. So I guess she's not coming along for the ride. I'm sure she'll be happy about that, though, because without Loom, these villagers could all die. And he's not transporting to the middle, which is where you normally see it. He's going to the side.
And he's not queuing up Loom behind this one.
Oh my
So
god.
it's just 2 more villagers in the queue and then goes for Loom?
And they're walling up at home expecting some type of a pressure. He might not know that he hasn't clicked Loom at this stage. Look at Max scouting for this. They're checking everywhere, Finland A, to see if the transport comes in.
Yeah, he didn't scout that area well yet. So doesn't see the Komodo dragon at that area. Walls off the left-hand side, and Roomstock is taking so much time.
Yeah, this is not good. This is not good in so many ways. And what should stem from this is that Zupi's going to lose water because Zupi is going to be 2v1'd on water. So the idea is the way to punish 2 people going on water is to hit them on land, and Rubenstock's just on a little cruise. That's it. I don't think they were prepared at all for this, Nilly.
I think this is a viable strategy if you do feud late sling, but that's obviously forbidden
Yeah.
by the rules of this tournament, so...
I'm clueless as to what they're planning here. And Rubenstock, he is going to be hearing from Zupi that Zupi's losing all of water control. He's going to arrive finally with Loom. He did get that. Sends a scout out, but we're 12 and a half minutes. He's been in this transport with 4 villagers for 2.
Oh man, now loses his fish as well. This feels so weird.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to go Castle Age eventually and just keep the vills back here, but this to me seems like Finland B have not tested or practiced this map at all. Typically, if you're going for a transport into scouts and archers, it can work quite well. At this point, you're going to have 3 or 4 scouts out, and if there's walls, then you have archers behind the walls. But I don't understand. I don't understand.
Is he hiding? I think he's hiding those and building a castle.
Yeah.
In Castle Age.
Because he's trying to save up food. He's going market blacksmith. He's not on stone yet, but he'll just sit here and never show himself until Castle Age. And in the meantime, the eco is going to be so good for Max and for Velez because they can add fishing ships now that I think they'll be in Castle Age too.
And Zupi is vulnerable to landings. Huh. Not liking his walls too much. He was really late on the walls.
Yeah. I think also what might have been the logic from Zupi and Rubenstock is they probably weren't expecting Max and Velez to both go water. Because Max would normally be the Malian role is the landing role 9 times out of 10. So I don't know, maybe it was a bit of double mind game as Rubenstock's on the way to Castle Age that Rubenstock felt like it would be a 1v1 on water. It would wall out any pressure that might come in from Max. And then if he drops a castle, this would work. But instead, it's been a complete disaster on water. And his villagers are stonewalling themselves a spot for the castle.
Oh god. And that should be more easily spotted now by Velez, right?
They can, yeah, he still hasn't found it, though. They must assume the Rubenstock's eventually going to transport, but Rubenstock is behind enemy lines. Still haven't found that.
I would be so paranoid. And you see, the Max is now building a stable on his own base because he knows something will be coming our way.
Yeah. That or just transport, make a transport and send over 2 knights to the enemy island. There's nothing they can do to stop that now that you have water control.
Zupi's still open at the front, not walling that area. 200 food only for him.
Rubenstock. Look at his ego, man. He only has berry villagers for food income. He's got it so much on stone. Nilly, okay, his scout has been spotted, but Velez will lose his scout. So Velez will be able to say that Rubenstock must be there. It's on Max now to use his scout. I'm not sure where it is. It's on the other side to find this. What if the castle drop is so ballsy? What if it's right next to the palisade walls from Velez? And Velez is completely off of gold. This could... It's a small chance that this could work.
I think the max will simply have 2 scouts out and a knight. And that castle won't be aggressive.
Yeah, it has to
Oh
be
no.
passive,
Oh no.
right?
Oh no. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Okay,
Wait,
so
finish up. Back in. Back in.
Ruben Stock just lost his scout. And okay, there's the signal. And oh god!
Oh no!
No, he
Bad
wants to
luck.
drop the castle here! He can't do it! No! Ruben Stock! Quick wall!
What? Scout. Oh no.
Max, let him do it. Let him do it. Come on. It's already bad enough. He's your team. You won the tournament with him in 2018. What are you doing, man? Oh, God. Oh, God. Velez could just build a tower if he has to. These villagers are going to die, and surely that's the game.
That was their full strategy.
That was an awful strategy. I mean, it gave us some laughs, but ripperoni. Now, do they call it here? Because they're out if this doesn't work, so... Oh, he's going to castle the shoreline now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is like, if it's group stage, you just resign. If it's not the last game,
Yep.
you resign.
Yep. But because it is going to be your final game and you get 3 ones, you want to continue, and he really wants to make a transport ship right now. Rubenstock, knowing him, he's probably laughing right now. For people that don't know him, he's probably laughing. He probably knows it's over. Zoopy, maybe not so much. But I'm sure that they realize this is GG at this point.
Roomstock already is heating up the sauna for after the game.
He really needs to keep that dock up so he can make a transport ship. Come on. Come on, let
he
it
was
happen.
repairing it quite heavily already, yeah.
He needs 125 wood for it. He has to queue one.
Don't repair too much.
What did he
What?
just spend
He's
wood
putting a
on?
lumber
Oh, he
camp.
spent wood on the lumber camp. Okay, we have to wait a bit for him to chop wood for the transport.
Not a single village on wood. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Meanwhile, update on Velez's situation. Velez is in full control. Velez is actually going to go for a crazy boom. And then Max, I did see a transport as he's killing a transport from Rubenstock. Oh, no. Rubenstock needed that. But yeah, Max sent knights over, or is about to. Yeah, here they come. And that could hit
Transporter-
Zoopy.
The transporter actually will survive, right? It is faster than the fire ship.
Okay.
So he should be fine. Builds a second one. Oh, but the Max sends more.
Max sent 2 knights in as well, just as Zoopy deleted his walls, and so that TC will get tonight.
no.
As if this, could get worse. And it's gonna get plenty worse here. Focus is all on Rubenstock. Is that a new transport, or did he repair?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a new one.
Well, they're only behind by a total of 45 villagers as a team, so he just needs to kill 45 units.
Transporter, Tristan. Transporter. 70 HP, 50 HP.
No! He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. As long as there's no misclick, he'll make it. Yes!
Okay.
Worth it. All right, the tale of Rubenstock's Kongs.
They need to do a lot of stuff now.
Hey, they've already killed more than Rubenstock has at all in this game, so... Right?
Well, they just got 2 kills out of 3, yeah.
Normally, I would watch other things, but because we know this game is probably over with Velez on the way to Imp, we'll just watch the Kongs and see what they can do. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is this micro from Rubenstock? He's really eating the TC shots quite well.
I know that our 1 to 10 scales work differently, so I better not answer.
Yeah, yeah, this is pretty bad. Pretty freaking bad. All the Kongs go down. And I expect the GG to be called any moment now. It's a shame we can't see the chat. I feel like this would be a moment where, since the teams know each other so well, they'd be talking. But look at the fish boom. This is what happens when you win water. Free fish boom, crazy imp time, full water control coming for Velez.
And Italians as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has 21 fishing ships now.
And he only has 5 on food otherwise. In imp, it's 25 minutes.
This was not fast imp, right?
It's true. It's not a 1 TC play. It's
100 pop. What is going on?
100 pop at 25 minutes. It's a population that most people can only dream of. And more conks. Oh, it's 5? It's 4 conquistadors and a missionary. Let's go.
If he runs under TCs again, you can heal up this time.
If he can convince Velez's entire population to come to his side, they can do it. He just has to
Yeah.
preach really hard. Come on. Here comes the conk donk combo. The combo you never thought you needed until
They're
now.
slower because of him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that formation, though. That's beautiful.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Kind of hard to convert someone from Finland over to Finland's side, so I don't know if this is going to work well.
Maybe to wear a different T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Come to my side. It's like those classic memes. It's like something wololo, the opposite. All right. You can do this, Rubenstock. Meanwhile, Velez is at 120 population at 27 minutes. Here come the camels. And
I think he should
Rubenstock.
even allow a conversion of a villager so that the camels can clear this one up.
Yeah, so the camel doesn't get converted. I don't know if it will matter too much. There we go. Camel's converted. And this will all go down.
If we could see chat, it would be in Finnish. Keep up the
Mhm.
good
Well,
work.
a combined 106 population to 220 now.
Yeah. Well, they got a win, Nilly. And it was actually a really good win. Chaos Pit didn't work out. Arabia didn't work out. Islands didn't work out. But Golden Pit did work out for them. And we all knew, I'm sure Finland B knew, it was going to be tough to beat Velez and Max because Velez and Max are just that good and expected to go very far in this tournament. My salutes and my respects go out to Rubenstock and Zupi. I think they would have wanted to play this a bit better today, but they did play well in the tournament. And they will have to cheer on Velez and Max going forward. It's a shame, but because there's so many good teams from quite a few countries, we did have to make sure that they knocked each other out in the early stages to see which country would represent, which team would represent the country. And this was also on the Finnish Independence Day, so it's kind of funny for that reason.
Good for them that they can now train together again.
True.
So this is like really fortunate because they will have a really good practice partner. I think something like Brazil A won't have. Like they won't train with Brazil B afterwards. I think Vietnam isn't really benefiting too much from training more with Vietnam B, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But this one is still like you can theorycraft lots of strategies, prepare drafts for the upcoming best of sevens as well. So that's going to be lovely. Roomstock Zupi. Unfortunate for them that there are two Finns that are even better than them.
Yeah, exactly. It was such a... I don't know what the population is of Finland, but I know it's on the smaller side compared to a lot of countries in the world and still so beastly. Yeah, great games. And Nilly, before I let you go here and we move on to the other two sets, I think both of us are going to be casting out in our streams. Expectations for what will be China A versus Finland A rematch in the quarterfinals of what was the finals back in 2018.
I'm like in my prediction earlier this week, I said it's kind of a coin flip, and I just randomly said 3-2 for China A, but could see Finland going through. Now I have to say Finland looked stronger, so I will go with the 3-1 for Finland now.
Okay. I also heard from some people behind the scenes. They said that Finland is one of the most terrifying teams. I spoke to two players from actually two separate teams who are favored to go deep, and they said they think Finland is the most terrifying for them, and they think that Finland would beat China. So, yeah, we'll see, man. That's going to be coming to YouTube in about a week. That will be streamed next weekend for those who are watching on Twitch right now. I love talking strats with you, Nilly. We had some good games today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it. Thanks for casting again with